Hi guys, welcome back. Today I am here with my January 2020 TBR. I can't believe it's about to be a new year. It's just absolutely wild. We're hitting a new decade, guys. So I'm very excited to get going and hopefully find some new favorite books. So let's go ahead and dive right into my TBR for the month. First up, I have my Patreon book club pick. Every month my patrons get to vote on which book we are going to buddy read together. And a new thing that we're starting to do for 2020 is having every month be themed to a different genre. So we're starting out in January with thrillers, and the thriller that my patrons voted on for us to read together this month is The Wives by Tarryn Fisher. I'm really interested to read this. I haven't read anything by Tarryn Fisher, but the premise of this book sounds fascinating, and this was my December Book of the Month Club pick. This is about a woman who knows that her husband has two other wives, and she's kind of used to the setup. Then out of curiosity, one day she decides to follow him and sees one of the other women, except that this woman doesn't seem to know that she's not the only wife, and then starts to have signs that maybe she's being physically abused. And also, where's the third wife? So it's like a domestic thriller that sounds super fascinating. I'm really excited to read it with my patrons and discuss it. I think it's going to be a fun one, hopefully. So that's what we're reading in January. If you guys are interested in joining in, my Patreon link is always down below. So yeah, should be fun. Then every month my patrons are entered into a raffle where the winner gets to select a book they want to see me read and review in the coming month. For January, the winner is Miriam, and the first couple books she had selected for me I had just finished reading. So once she gets back to me with a different pick, I will put a picture of it right here. Moving on, let's talk about my TBR for the Get Shit Done Readathon. If you didn't know, I am co-hosting along with 4 of my other BookTube friends a readathon for the month of January called the Get Shit Done Readathon. I will link the announcement video up above if you guys want to check it out. It'll give you all of the details on who the hosts are, where to follow us for more information, all of the prompts, etc. But I have my TBR for it, and I'm very proud I was able to meet all 6 of the prompts in 3 books, which is pretty awesome. And one of them meets the bonus challenge of getting 3 or more prompts in one book. That book is Dark Dawn by J. Kristoff. This is a book that I started reading and put down, didn't want to DNF it, but just never got back around to reading it, so I'm hoping to pick this one up. It is also a series finale, so it'll meet the challenge of ending a series that I have been meaning to finish up. And finally, it meets the challenge of being a book from a book box. I actually got this edition in a mini box along with a book sleeve and a pin. So yeah, this is my first pick for the Get Shit Done Readathon TBR. Next, I have the book that has been on my TBR the longest and the one that I'm using for the challenge of reading a classic. This is Voices from the Other World, Ancient Egyptian Tales by Naguib Mahfouz. Naguib Mahfouz was an Egyptian author who won a Nobel Prize and was really well known, and his books are considered classics. This is a short little collection of stories that I purchased when I was studying abroad in Egypt when I was in college, which was a really long time ago. So I bought this, oh gosh, it would have been in like 2006. So this has been on my TBR for a very long time and I never got around to reading it. So this seemed like the perfect opportunity, and for a readathon it's sometimes nice to have like short little books, so this won't take me long to read, but I have read several other books by him and really love them. I think they're well worth checking out. So yeah, that is my second book on that TBR. And then the final challenge is to either read a book for review or read a book that is a gift. And so for this, I'm picking a book that I have for review for the month of January. This is a book that was sent to me by the author, and it is The Bard's Blade by Brian D. Anderson. I'm really excited to pick this one up. It's coming out through Tor in January, and this is his traditionally published debut novel. He was an indie fantasy writer. And this one sounds like it's probably going to be a lot of fun. It is kind of a traditional epic fantasy with good guys and bad guys, which sometimes are fun. Sometimes you don't need to like reinvent the wheel. It follows a woman who is a renowned winemaker and her betrothed, and they have a really great, sweet romance, but then something dark and magical separates them, and they must find a way to come together again and maybe save the world in the process. I think it's going to be super fun. I'm really excited to pick it up. Next, I have 2 buddy reads for the month, and then a whole bunch of arcs that I am hoping to get to. My first buddy read I'm probably going to be doing via audiobook with Julie from Pages and Pens. This is one of her, I think, 1920 books to read in 2020 video that she did, I think. This is An Unkindness of Magicians by Kat Howard. I think it's like an urban fantasy. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know there's like warring magician houses or something. I've heard a lot of really fantastic things about it, but also some people don't like it, so I'm curious to see how I feel about it. So I'm going to be getting the audiobook from my library and reading that with Julie, so, which I can't believe it. We've never done a buddy read together. We've been booktube friends for a while and just haven't, so this will be our first one. Looking forward to it. And then the other one is one that was supposed to happen in December, but both of us were just swamped, so we are going to be doing this in January instead. This is Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen Maria Machado. This has been on my TBR for so long and I really want to read it. It's a collection of short stories that are feminist horror and retelling of myths. I think I'm gonna love it based on what I've heard about it, and so yeah. This is gonna be a buddy read with Katrina from Fabulous Book Fiend. Moving on, I have a whole bunch of arcs that I need to get around to reading, and many of them are from Tor. So the Bard's Blade is from Tor, and then I also have 5 others from Tor, so we're gonna talk about those first, and then I'll talk about the other several arcs that I'm hoping to get to. First up, I have The Unspoken Name by A.K. Larkwood. This is a debut fantasy novel about a lesbian orc priestess who turns away from her foretold death to become a wizard's assassin. That is wild. I'm super excited for it. I've been seeing this all over and I was really thrilled when Tor asked if I wanted a copy, so I will definitely be reading that one. And then I have a couple of Tor.com novellas I've been wanting to read for a while. I have Riot Baby by Toshi Onyebuchi, which is his adult debut, and this one is urban fantasy with some interesting themes involving incarceration and race. And then also, I've been wanting to read this since I got it. Why haven't I read it yet? But this is Upright Women Wanted by Sarah Gailey. It sounds like so much fun. So much fun. And it's short. I just need to read it. Like, my December was just so much more wildly busy than I expected it to be. But on the back it says, "The future American Southwest is full of bandits, fascists, and queer librarian spies on horseback trying to do the right thing. They'll bring the fight to you." It just sounds so good. Yeah, so I have 2 Tor.com novellas. I also have pre-orders coming in January, so like, we'll see what happens. Then there is A Queen in Hiding by Sarah Kozloff. This is the first in a series of 4 books, and they're publishing 1 a month between January and April, which sounds really interesting. This is kind of like your classic fantasy about a queen who's been in hiding, who needs to reclaim her throne. I'm sure it's going to be a whole lot of fun, and the cover's really pretty. And then the last book that I have from Tor is one of my most anticipated books of the year. When I heard about this, I was like, oh, please give me that. That sounds amazing. This is Burn the Dark by S.A. Hunt. It says it is a female-driven supernatural meets Stranger Things in a horror action adventure about a punk YouTuber on her mission to bring down evil witches, one vid at a time. That sounds so cool. I'm really excited for that. I think it's gonna be fun. I have 5 more to talk about. Switching gears from all of the fantasy, I have How to Speak Boy by Tiana Smith. This one is coming out in January from Swoon Reads. It sounds super cute. It is a YA contemporary romance about rivals on a high school debate team, which sounds adorable. Then I have a middle grade book that sounds fun. This one was originally published in the UK and is now getting its first US release in January. It is Jelly by Jo Cotterill. This is about a young girl who is sort of the queen of comedy at her school because that's how she copes with people making fun of her because of her weight. And then her mom gets a new boyfriend who actually notices that maybe she's not as happy as she seems, and she starts to open up for the first time and learn how to find her voice and maybe read some of her poetry that she secretly writes. It sounds really great and really heartwarming, so I'm excited to give that one a try. This one was very kindly sent to me for review by Little Bee Books. Another of my most anticipated books that I was again hoping to get to in December but sadly did not is Dark and Deepest Red by Anna Marie McLemore. I love Anna Marie McLemore. All of their books are so good, and they are one of the only people who I will happily allow to make me cry in a book. Books are always very queer and deal with gender and sexuality in interesting ways. This one is a reimagining of the Dancing Shoes fairy tale mythology and follows 2 girls who are living 500 years apart. I'm sure it's going to be great because everything by them is great. Okay, 2 more to go. One I'm interested to see how I feel about it. This is Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera. This is his first fantasy novel. He's known for his queer speculative fiction. This is his first foray into like fantasy superpower books, and so I'm curious to see how I feel about it. I had mixed feelings with the one other book that I read from him. I liked it, but I didn't love it, even though I know a lot of people do. So I'm very interested to see how I get along with him doing fantasy. And the final book on my TBR for January is Rogue Princess by B.R. Myers. I just love this cover. I think it's so much fun. This is a gender-swapped YA sci-fi retelling of Cinderella, and I am here for it. Whew, okay, so there you go. Those are all of the books on my TBR for January. Can I read all of them? And the others that are probably gonna come? Who knows, but I'm gonna do my best. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts or feelings on any of the books that I shared in my TBR today. And for your question of the day, let me know what you're excited to get to read in January, moving into a new year. It's very exciting. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.